let us start with the continents, what we have, what we usually see in that map. That is, we have 7 continents, and to make it much more easier way, we'll start with bigger to smallest. So, what you can see here in the map first is the area largest is Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, and finally we are in Australia. Since we are starting with Australia, so to make it much more easier, we are starting with the smallest continent, which is highlighted in red color. So let us begin now. So as you can see, this is the Australian map, which is enlarged, and we can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here one more smaller section is there, and one more small portion of Australia is there, which will be learning one after the other. So by seeing the world map here, we can just identify that Australia is one of the smallest continent and the largest island, and it is also a continent and also a country also. So these are the basic things which we'll be learning. So in my class, first we'll start learning the simple things. Based on that, we'll start to enlarge our thinking capacity and enlarge our knowledge also. So now let's start so the topic of Capricorn is the latitude which passes through the South America, which you can see here, and there is Africa here, and also you can see there is Australia and Oceania, which is mentioned in the world map here. Why I'm showing you this because as I told you in the beginning, we are learning the smaller steps now. So let's start with the learning the known latitude which crosses Australia first. So in the next map, you can see here that the Tropic of Capricorn is passing through Australia. Here, as I shown you, there are different parts here in Australia. This is 1, 2, 3. 3 parts the Tropic of Capricorn is passing. So now just let's recall what we have learned so far. So we have seen these are the different parts. This is one of the largest island, one of the smallest continent, and continent along with the country. So it also has a Tropic of Capricorn passing through 3 of its parts, right? So now let's dig deeper into Australia. What actually the parts are known as. So here is Australia. As I told you before, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 different parts or individual things which are actually present in this Australia. So now it is a Western Australia in the western side, Northern Territory and South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. And as you can see, in this entire Australia, we don't have any landlocked um, place which has been seen so far. So the one more observation what you can do is Western Australia is sharing boundary with Northern Territory and South Australia, and the Northern Territory is sharing boundary with Western Australia, South Australia, and Queensland. Similarly, Queensland is sharing boundaries with all these three, and South and New South Wales is in the south, and New South Wales is touching Victoria and Queensland and South Australia, and New South Wales, Northern Territory is not touching each other. Western Australia and Queensland are not touching each other. Similarly, Victoria is not touching Northern Territory. Yes. So now let's see how do we remember these names. So as you know, like it's a general thing, like we all know the directions. So Western Australia lies in the western side here and South Australia here. So these two names are similar to Western Australia and South Australia. The only thing now is challenging is Northern Territory and the Queensland. So Australia and Australia West and South is here. Northern and Queensland. Northern Territory comes, and here the Queensland comes. So and if we recall, the Tropic of Capricorn, which is passing through all the 3 places which I told you. From this map, you can see Western Australia, Northern Territory, and Queensland. This map is along with the Tropic of Capricorn, and the degree is 23.5 degree latitude, Tropic of Capricorn, and this is the important thing which you have to remember in this for the examinations also. So the Tropic of Capricorn now doesn't, now you are having a clear understanding why I was very much stressing on these three areas. And now you can also observe that Tropic of Capricorn below is South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria. These three places is below the Tropic of Capricorn. That is a one more observation what we can take it from here. Now let's recall what we have done so far. So I'll give 2 minutes to just recall what you have done so far. Even if you reach to the first letter of the place name also, that is also a very good thing if you are a beginner. Yes, hope you are able to get through one. The first one, what I have marked and pointing towards the arrow mark here, two and three. Three is very easy to remember because it is a Queensland. Yes, 1 and 4 is very much easy because it is Western Australia and this is South Australia. And 2 is in the northern of Australia, that is called Northern Territory. This is 5, New South Wales, and 6 is Victoria. And now the seventh one, the latitude which passes through 1, 2, and 3 is Tropic of Capricorn, and the latitude degree is 23 and a half, and the latitude passes through 1, 2, and 3, that is Western Australia, Northern Territory, and Queensland. Yes, don't be very much demotivated if you're not able to recall. In the initial phase, it will be difficult. Even for me, it was difficult. Just keep going on, and you will be able to do it. Now, if you go back and we'll do the just do the active recall once again. This is Western Australia, Northern Territory, and this is Queensland, and the Tropic of Capricorn. This line is passing through all the three places, and it has 23.5 degree latitude, and the name is Tropic of Capricorn. And again, we revise this. This is Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland. South comes your South Australia and New South Wales, and finally Victoria. Yes, hope that is all fine. Now let's go to the, now let's build one more layer on top of this. So important cities, what is the capital of Australia, everything will know. So now let's start. Now as you can see, I have just upgraded the map. It has all the water bodies. You can see wave things here, all the sites it has been covered by water. Now we'll see what are the places which we have to know in Western Australia. It is Perth, here it is Darwin, and in Queensland it is Brisbane. So just like how we studied Western Australia, Northern Territory, and Queensland, the Tropic of Capricorn passes. It'll be easier to remember Perth, Darwin, and Brisbane along with this only. Next comes your South Australia and New South Wales. For South Australia, it is Adelaide. So you can spell it as an how you can remember it. So if my pronunciation is wrong, please excuse. So then New South Wales comes Sydney, and capital of Australia's Canberra is also located here, and the Victoria it is Melbourne, and the new one which I'm introducing here is Tasmania and Hobart. Just start making layers in your understanding, one after the other. We'll come back again and then we'll start studying about Tasmania and the other water bodies also. So just recall now, this is Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, New South Wales, and Victoria. And now this is the first layer what we have made. And on top of this layer, we'll just understand the different places which I learned on top of this. Western Australia is Perth, Darwin is comes in Northern Territory, Queensland, Brisbane, South Australia, Adelaide, New South Wales is Sydney, and Canberra is Australia capital, which comes in the New South Wales, Victoria, Melbourne, and the new thing which we learned here is Tasmania and Hobart. Now let's see what are the questions what we expect from this learning as a continent. So the PYQs related to Australia as considering continent in have this the whole bunch of the 7 questions includes both the PYQs from state PSUs and the UPSC questions also. It has which is the smallest continent, list some of the two continents. See, in this slide, if you go through this slide, as I've all shown, Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica, Europe, and Australia. Just by going through this, you can answer many of the questions which is listed here. The which is the smallest continent, two of the smallest continent, which is continent having the largest number of countries. This thing it might be a bit difficult, but still you can answer by just looking at the different continents which is listed here itself, and arranging the continents in ascending and descending, arrange in terms of area wise. And the last is it might be a bit tricky, but I think you should do a little bit of small homework. You'll come to know about this continent having maximum per capita land. So these are all the PYQs which is related to Australia considering as a continent, and these PYQs not only has its own uh, not only related to Australia, but the options also has Australia. So I have listed all these questions here. So let's see what the homework which I'll be giving you. So the homework includes, so does the Tropic of Capricorn cross any of the places discussed in today's class? The places is relating to this slide. Thus Tropic of Capricorn crosses Darwin, Perth or Brisbane. That is your first homework, and list the water touching places. Now, yes, we made a second layer after learning all the places in Australia. What are the water touching? For example, Perth and Darwin is touching the water side. So, similarly, all these things you have to consider it. Do a little bit of 5 minutes of googling. Googling is enough, and you'll end up with your answers. And what is per capita land, and what is the position of Australia in it. So to do this homework, 5 to 10 minutes of Google search is enough. Now don't take more than that because it's a very small questions, and discussing and all these questions will be discussed tomorrow again in the class, and we'll do an active recall again. So hope you understood, and if any queries you can always get back to me. Thank you.